Today I will be reviewing a special compilation called Roost Party that came out today as a collaboration between the two labels Cyduck and AMFLARA. So I've been following a little bit of Cyduck for about almost a year now. I discovered that label. I think it's founded or owned by the artist Sectors, if I remember correctly. But I found that label through Irie Art's album Vermilion, and I kind of liked the other stuff that Cyduck had to offer, so I continued to follow them. And if I remember correctly, AMFLARA was a label that just started this year. It's founded by the artist Flare in the Sky, who is also on this compilation, as well as Sectors, which is pretty cool to have the founders and owners be a part of this compilation. But overall, yeah, I discovered AMFLARA through artists like Flare in the Sky and Zorro and Josh Tiong, and also a little bit of Texoma as well. I think each label has a lot of great talent by undiscovered, unheard, unknown artists, and I feel like they all have some sort of significant style and sound design to bring to the table. And this collaborative compilation was pretty strong in my opinion. There were a little bit of weaker cuts on this, but overall I don't think there's really a song on this compilation that was really inherently bad or incredibly awful. I think most of the songs, even those tracks that I thought that were weaker, were pretty strong and decent overall. So yeah, I'm just gonna start reviewing each track, and yeah, let's start this off. So our opening track for this compilation was I Can't Let Go by Quest. Now, this is a nice, strong, feature-based song with some good vocals and some clean production. It's a little basic, but overall I can get behind the idea, and the sound design is great, and also I think the vocals were really good. Next up, we have Don't Let Go by Triangle Reality. This is a great electro song. I think there's some really good sound design. It takes me back to that 2014, 2013 Monster Cat era of Nitro Fun and all that stuff. I thought it was really good. Despite its heaviness, it feels like a pretty laid back song to me. I'm surprised how heavy yet chill the track was. But yeah, I really enjoy it. I don't know if this is better than Triangle Reality's Star Recruits track, but this is still an incredible job. Next up, we have Voice in the Sky by Geysa. Now, Geysa has really done a lot. He's kind of a multi-genre artist. One time he might do psytrance, another time he might do moonbatin, and this time he did some complextro. The vocal samples are great, as well as the little intercom samples in the intro and outro, and the drop's really good. The mixing is a little bit off sometimes, but I think that kind of adds more to the old school vibe that Geysa brings to the table. Next up, we have the AMFLARA founder, Flare in the Sky, with a song about little guys. Now, first of all, it feels so good to hear a track with a cowbell in it that is not funk. I personally wouldn't label this funk. Maybe Flare has a different label, but this just sounds like a pretty chill future house track to me, or just a house song in general. The very sharp cuts work really well. Honestly, I don't really like that because I feel like it can be a little off kilter sometimes, but I think the execution with the sharp cuts in the drop are done really well, and Flare's falsetto-y vocals are done amazing. I think they bring a lot of atmosphere and emotion to the track, and overall just a really vibrant track overall. Next up, we have Fairy Tale by Evolve. Now, this one I'm not super fond of. The production isn't bad. I don't hate the production at all. It's a decent future-based drop, but the country vocals really bring it down for me. And I get that this is an experiment by Evolve, trying something new, but as someone who personally dislikes country, the vocals really feel out of place for me personally. And that's kind of my only complaint. I feel like the country sounding vocals just bring this track down overall. Everything else is okay. Next track, we have sorry, I'm trying to pronounce this, Chirogenic by Function. Now, this is a pretty straightforward rhythm track. I don't really have anything much else to say, but I really like this song. It slaps. It's a banger. There's good sound design. I love the repetitiveness of it, and I look forward to hearing more stuff like this from Function in the future. Next track is Icarus by Tech Soma. This is a great future-based song. I've been loving everything that Tech Soma's been putting out. Her song on the Liquid D&B orbit from Novatone, as well as the uplifting trance orbit as well. Her single Connection that was released on AMFLARA just recently. And now we have Icarus. It's cool to hear her experiment with all of these genres, and I'm genuinely curious to see what she will do next, because I just think her work so far has been incredible, and I'm surprised that she only has like 90 monthly listeners on Spotify. Yeah, crazy. Next track, we have Siege by Chrome and Zedeye. Now, unfortunately, this, in my opinion, is my least favorite track of the compilation. I think there are a lot of incredible ideas in this one, but I feel like the main lead sound, like that main one shot that is constantly used sporadically in each drop, really brings this down. It feels too repetitive. It feels too one note in a way. It's just not for me. Next track, we have Galaxy by Sectors. Great vocal sample and great future bass production. I think I've been catching up with what the artists have been saying about their songs on Cyduck's Instagram on their story. And Sectors talked about how this was a track that they made in like 2021, and then they brought it back, and overall it was produced really well. I really enjoyed it. Next track, Nova Star by Amethyst. 7-minute trance song. Pretty good. I feel like the long length wasn't really needed. I feel like it takes too long to progress to each bit. But overall, it was okay. The second half was my favorite part of it. Next track, we have Hovercraft by Irie Arts. This is an incredible track by Irie. I didn't expect it to be so chill. It definitely has a very lo-fi groove to it. I guess I'm just used to hearing heavy Irie Arts, but this was a nice change of pace for the dude, and I think it works really well, and I love that vocal sample that's used throughout the whole track. Next up, we have The Kid Station with Alien. A little bit of chiptune, a little bit of breakbeat. There wasn't really anything that really stood out to me in this track. It was just kind of meh. There was nothing that I found really interesting about it, and overall, that's really all I have to say. It just kind of felt a little boring, and yeah. Next up, we have Bucketeer with, let me see what the title is, Bassport Amen. Cool drum and bass track. Overall, I don't think I'd come back to it, but there were some great ideas, and I think this song sampled the Amen break as well, which is pretty cool. It was alright. Next track, we have Puddle of Acid by Sawswipe. Never heard of Sawswipe before, but this is really good. This is a very minimal track. It's mainly focused on just the sub and the percussion, and usually with songs like this, I feel like they're very empty, but I didn't feel any emptiness at all. I think the atmosphere was great, and that clap is amazing. I just love the percussion in this. I think it's done really well in this track. And the penultimate track, River of Dreams by Zoro and Josh Tiong. Finally, these two collab. I'm so happy for them. And this is my favorite track off the compilation. I think it's incredible. I think the drums are great. The synths are great. That classic Josh Tiong piano, as well as the classic Zoro synths, are done really well. And both their vocal performances are incredibly strong, in my opinion. So, yeah, great job, guys. This is my favorite track off of Roost Party. And finally, the final track, Behemoth by Bird Tattoo. It was kind of meh. I wasn't really sure where the song was going. It felt a little bland in the first half, but when the final section kicked in with what sounded like a little bit more instrumentation at the very end, I felt like that was its redeeming quality. So overall, it kind of felt a little half-baked, but the second half I thought was pretty good. But overall, I would have to give this compilation, I'd say, about an 8 out of 10. I thought it was really good overall. A lot of great artists, as well as some that I didn't know. I think about like a third of the list of artists I never heard of before. But I think everyone did really good, and I'm excited to see what both of these labels have in the future. So thank you so much for listening to me ramble about this compilation. Please go check it out yourself. I will put some links to check out the comp in the description, and I will see you in the next video.